Welcome back again. This video is to show us the basic formation of CSS file. Now we can consider CSS is no more than a set of rules. Each rule would have three components. The first one is the element. The second one is what sort of things that you like to control. The third one is the value that you like to be used. Here we do have some formal names for each of the components. In this example, when you look at the slide, H1 is the selector. H1 is the element that we like to control. Here, color red, we have two parts. One is the property. This is the attribute that we like to assign. Red is the value. So we can consider these two pair together as a declaration. We may have multiple declarations for a selector. With this example, we can see there are two declarations which forms a declaration block. The first declaration is for color. The second declaration is for background. So at the time that we define CSS, we have rules. At the time we have rules, remember, we have three components: selector, property, and value. And we may have different declaration blocks. Now remember that we have three parts in CSS rules: the element, the selector, the property, and the value. We often interested in how to assign the values to the properties. There are different ways to assign the values. We can use numbers, we can use percentages, we can use colors, we can use keywords. All these are relating to the properties that we are specifying. Now in CSS, we need to specify length units. Well, there are two ways to specify length units here. One is relative, the other one is absolute. Now relative units are so called because they measure in relation to other things. There are different types of relative length units available to be used in CSS. For example, EX and EM, which is a typographical elements that we can specify. The second choice is percentage. The third choice is the pixels. Now in CSS, we can also have absolute length units here. Obviously, we can specify them into the measurements that we are familiar with, like inches, like centimeters, like millimeters, points, and pixels. While we're very interested to specify colors, we can have red, maroon, orange, yellow. All these colors are available, or even more. Then we can look into how to specify the actual values of the colors. The first way is specifying colors by the values of RGB. Here we have some examples here. We can have 100% for R, which stands for red, 100% for G, which is green, 100% for blue. And the result is white. On the other hand, we can specify with the possible absolute values of different color intensities. Say, for example, 100% is representing 255, which is the full color of red, as well as 255 for full color of green. So here, percentage as well as 255 on the other side, which are specifying the same color range. We have another example that the starting point of the color intensity is 0. So the range of each color, primary color, is 20 to 255. There are Another way to specify the colors, we can use the hexadecimal codes to specify the RGB color here. Here we look at the source code of a CSS file. H1, we have FF0000 also. Now the first two letters, FF, is representing the red part. The second two letters, 00, is representing the green part. The third pair, 00, is representing the blue part. So again, we have RGB. But in this time, we're using the hex code, hexadecimal code, to specify the color value. For H1, because the second pair and the third pair are all zeros, then we have only the red color. Similarly, the H2, we have the green. H3, we have the blue. And H4, well, each one of the color will have some values. So as a result, we have a medium gray, which we can see the examples displayed at the bottom of the slide. Now one can have a simple way to represent the same values, which is F00. So notice that every time when we define the colors, at least we have three values. F00 is one representation. H2 works similarly, as well as H3. Now we have a problem for H4. H4, on one side, we have 80, 80, and 80, which defines the RGB quite well. But for the short form, we have only 80. We missed one value, and this short form would not work.